guest in the house with us. We're going to understand a bit more about him, what drives him, what did he do as a kid for fun, and how he ended up in the seat that he's in today. I'm talking about Honorable George Anda, who is a Deputy Minister for Communication and, of course, MP for Owutu Senya West. Good morning.
Good morning, Jafar. Good morning to your viewers and compliments of the season.
How are you?
Very well, by His grace.
What does the new year mean to you in the new year?
I guess it's a time of making peace. It's a time of reconciling. It's a time of making your resolutions, setting your priorities right, setting your goals. It's an opportunity for a fresh start, and I guess there's a bit of the celebration that comes with it, a bit of spiritual renewal. So it means quite a lot. Is the newness that comes with it. So an opportunity to do things differently and do them better.
What were some of your highlights of 2018?
2018, I guess, being privileged to come onto City TV was
Really?
was one of the highlights. 2018, doing things in the constituency, the commissioning of the renovated Bojuasi Maternity Clinic that was done by the First Lady.
Wow.
Was one of the big highlights for me. Listening to the budget and being convinced that the Obratre Bojuasi Road had been captured in the budget, listening to the news report that made reference to Cabinet approving the construction of the Senya landing beach wharf was a big highlight. I guess a lot of other things that happened at work, addressing some of the seemingly controversial issues around some of the policies that we're implementing at the ministry. And obviously, towards the end of the year, the unfortunate car accident that myself and my team were involved in, and the events thereafter was also one of the big highlights for me.
I'm glad that you're here with us today.
We thank God.
Yes. What was your childhood like? Where did you grow up? What did you do for fun? Did you envision yourself as an MP as a child?
Well, I come from a family of 5 siblings. Both parents have passed away. My dad was a telecommunications engineer, John Samolanda. My mom was an educationist. Teresa Hagen became Anda. I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and I'm the youngest of my siblings. So there's a positive side to it, there's a negative side to it.
Were you like a pension baby?
Well, I don't know what you mean by a pension baby.
What's the gap between you and your immediate sibling?
4 years.
Okay, so you weren't.
4 years. There's a 4-year gap between myself and my immediate elder brother, Eddie. We grew up in Roman Ridge, but we come from a very big family. The Hagen family and the Anda family our families are very big families. So all the cousins are like siblings. So we used to spend time in each other's houses during the holidays.
Did they bully you as the last child? Did they like ruffle you up a bit?
Well, I think to some extent sometimes, and depending on how stubborn they think that you are in addressing a particular issue at a particular point in time, you may be disciplined and you may think that is a bit of bullying. But yes, it's normal. We went through that. We had fantastic neighbors, and I think that it was okay. It was okay growing up. Yes, I attended Christ the King International School. Then I had the opportunity of going to Achimota for 1 to 5 and then 6th form, and I guess that was another big privilege in my life.
Yeah. Did you like school as a child?
Certain aspects of school, yes.
Okay. What were the aspects you didn't like?
Well, in Christ the King, I remember there was something that they used to call mental.
Mental.
And
okay, what's mental?
you put on the spot and you be asked certain questions like your times table and stuff like that, and you have to do it quickly within the shortest possible time. Otherwise, you'll be disciplined. And I didn't really like
The discipline aspect.
I like to do things at my pace. I don't like people forcing me to do things.
But didn't you like the challenge of finishing first?
Yeah. But I want to dictate the pace myself. I don't like it when people try and push me to do things too much, and that has been since my childhood. I like to do things myself.
So did they punish you a lot, or you
A number of
escaped
times
punishment?
a number of times I got punished. Yes, for not being mentally sound.
So did you always preempt the punishment? So you took your time, or you attempted to finish early?
I tried to get it right, but
It didn't work
they say the body is strong, or the mind is strong, but I mean, sometimes it just didn't happen. I mean, you have a bad day sometimes. So, but I mean, the days that you managed to sail through, I mean, you were quite excited.
Okay.
But if you didn't manage to sail through, and maybe some of the answers were pretty easy answers, and you have your mates laughing at you. I mean, you didn't know the answer to this one, that kind of thing. But I guess it's all part of growing up.
So what did you want to be at that age? When you saw yourself in your 30s and 40s, what did you see in the future?
Well, I mean, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a veterinary surgeon. I love animals, and I remember when we were kids, we used to have animals around us, I mean, as pets, and I wanted to be a veterinary surgeon.
Wow.
I guess until I got into secondary school, then I wasn't too sure
Why?
what I wanted. I don't know. I mean, at some point in time, I thought that being a veterinary surgeon would be a bit boring.
But you'll be with animals and you love them.
Yeah, but I mean, things change. I mean, I still love animals. I still love animals. So anyway, so eventually I did biochemistry in the university, and
Why biochemistry?
well, I wanted to do pharmacy, but my name wasn't put on the list for pharmacy. there were 6 of us. Sorry. Myself, Reginald Marfo, William Hesilate, Erica Shabo, James Odins Lindsay, Richard Eziame. And we all sort of met in tech. I mean, and we all wanted to do pharmacy.
And none of you got in.
None of us got into.
So you became the association of people who didn't get in.
So we got biochemistry,
Okay.
and I guess we made the best out of it. And I remember when with biochemistry you have to do your industrial attachment. So I did one industrial attachment at Pepsi Cola.
Okay.
And I was attached to the lab. And you go on the production line every 5 minutes and pick up samples.
And test
You
it in
check,
the lab.
you test for the level of CO2. You test for the sugar level. You test for the color. You test for the fill height.
Was it fun?
It was interesting because that was, I mean, you don't learn those kind of things in school.
Yeah. Did you have the lab equipment in school?
Yeah, I mean, you have your
had
lab
them.
equipment in school, but you do your acid test and stuff like that. But going into the field and having an actual product and then testing for the level of acidity, testing for the amount of carbon dioxide in the bottle, looking at the fill height, looking at how tight the crown cork had been fixed onto the bottle, looking at the labeling. I mean, it was a big difference in terms of what we are studying in school, and I think that was quite exciting. So I was quite happy then, and however, I was looking at the superiors that I had, and I was asking myself that, do I want to be like this in the next 5 years? And I'm not sure that there was too much that challenged me and too much that motivated me.
What did you see when you looked at your superiors?
Well, I didn't see excitement. And most of them would be complaining about what they were doing, and they have been here for this number of years, and we've been doing this all along. And you ask them, why don't you move and do something else? And it wasn't like a positive story. I mean, I didn't think that I was going to be challenged during that kind of thing. And then after school, I had the opportunity of doing national service, the Food Research Institute, and I was actually put on the farm at their production site, where they were producing high value gari and processed foods. And I think that was a bit more interesting because, I mean, ordinary gari on the market, you charge a certain price, but then with just a bit of proper packaging, a bit of proper sieving of the product, and adding a bit more nutrients, and sometimes a bit more color, or roasting it to a slightly different temperature, you got a product that you could charge a bit more of a premium. And I guess that is where my love with marketing, or my understanding of marketing, sort of got initiated. And I love that kind of, I love the field work. I love the fact that you go and then there'll be a lot of women that are waiting to buy the products. Oh, you see your mind.
What mind?
No, but when I said a lot of women, you started smiling. No, I mean a lot of traders that were queuing for the products. I mean, sometimes you get people that will come and say they need a product. Their family and their family outside wants this particular product, and I think that there was a demand that was existing, and there was a premium that was being charged, and then those are the basic principles of marketing to be able to identify what is it that your target wants, and then be able to deliver that product or that service better than any of your competitors.
So we'll get into marketing, but what did you do for fun in uni? When you look back at your days at KNUST, what are the things you were like, wow, I can't believe I did this?
Well, there are a number of things. I guess one of the few things that I sit down and can't believe that I did was participating in some of the looters at that time.
Really?
I remember we were getting ready for exams, and it's like you study the thing's not going. and then some people started saying there's a looter coming up. And the thing is not. And some of my friends and I started like, should we support Aluta or should we go and study for exams? And suddenly we supported Aluta.
Why?
I'm not too sure that we really fully understood what the issue was, but the fact that to give you a few days, that you won't write the exam, So we supported Aluta. And
you didn't even know why you were supporting. You just wanted some buffer time.
You knew why you were supporting it, but then was that the only way to address that issue? Sitting back, I'm not too sure. So I remember that night. We walked. There were a lot of us. Okay, we walked. Did so many demonstrations and things. And the next morning, my friend and I couldn't wake up from the bed. And when eventually we woke up, he was like, George, do you know how many miles we walked yesterday? I'm like, no, I'm not too sure. He says, but he thinks that we walked too many miles. So anyway, so we took a taxi, and then we decided to follow the route that we followed. And it was like, really, we did all this thing, and it was quite interesting.
You could have just studied.
We could have just studied. But on a more serious note, I think for most of us in tech, it was an opportunity to just let your head down, to just be yourself. You had those that were involved in commercial activities. You had those that were involved in entertainment. And I remember in tech, my friends and it was quite, we would say that when we were getting ready for exams, you'd be giving an option of, let's say, there'll be 6 questions and we get an option to answer 4. And you know exactly what particular areas or what a particular subject matters you'll be asked to ask questions from. So there's something that we call punching. Yeah, punching. So you could punch and say that, okay, you've gone through, let's say, 5 topics in the semester for this particular subject. So out of 5, if you punch like 4, you definitely will be able to answer your 4 questions. So there'll be a subject area where probably after leaving the lecture room and probably doing your assignments, you really wouldn't prepare for the exam because you're focusing on other areas where you are punching hard.
But what if it doesn't show up?
Well, that was the risk. But you see, that on the flip side, it's like when you go there and your punching has landed.
Then you're just like
it's such a wild thing that you punch and it landed and you mash the paper. It was quite interesting. We used to have fun. One of our friends' mom was in Kumasi, Erica Shabo, Sisi, may his soul rest in peace. And I mean, almost every weekend we would go over, or she'd send homemade food over, and it was fun. I mean, we used to happy ourselves as a group, and I think that was quite
Were
interesting.
you ever worried that, okay, I just finished this internship of some sort and I've studied science, but I'm more intrigued by the arts and marketing? Were you one of the
No,
people
when I
that
was
was
in tech,
worried
no.
about what to do with your degree once you graduate?
I don't think
It
so. I
never
mean,
crossed your
I
mind?
don't think that we didn't. I mean, as much as there was like a guidance and counseling section there, I don't think that we were really being prepared that way. I mean, as to what the options were. I mean, it was like going through them. I mean, for me personally, it was in final year when my mom passed away, and I had a sort of a rude awakening that, you know, life is not going to be this easy all the time, and then you need to sit up and do things for yourself. And I guess that's probably one of the times that I really sat down and pushed myself and tried to make the best out of the opportunities that I was being given in school, and it did pay off. Yeah.
Wow. How was that period like? Like, you just finished school and you're dealing with a loss.
Well, my mom passed away when I was in final year. So fortunately, with the support that I had from family, I mean, yes, you feel the pain, but I mean, life moved on. I mean, it's for me, the big lesson there was that you need to take control of your life and need to do things. You need to do things yourself, no matter how much support you get from family, no matter how much support you get from friends. If at the end of the day you yourself are not taking your destiny into your hands, you cannot do much about it. So that was, for me, that was one of the biggest life lessons that I picked up at that time.
Wow. So let's talk about telecommunication and your space in that. Your dad worked in that space. Did you see yourself in that space at all, or was it just
I found
coincidence?
engineering and telecommunication stuff to be very, very boring.
Why?
I wasn't an engineer. I mean, my dad would go for meetings and he would come to you. He would be telling you, using all those technical terms and stuff
And you'd
like
be
that.
falling
And
asleep.
I was totally turned off. I mean, I never got interested in it. So I prefer to do biology than to study more physics and stuff like that, because I didn't want him to even try and push me into that space.
Were you trying to be rebellious, or just
I
what
just
was
wasn't
it?
interested. It was nothing that interested me. I mean, I didn't see myself working in telecoms. I prefer to be, a vet or something to do with medicine, biochemistry, lab work and stuff
But
like
isn't that very, like, when I see people in a lab, I find it very boring, right? To be with all these cells and you're looking through it, versus engaging people in your marketing. It's like very different.
No, so at that time, when my dad's kind of telecoms wasn't marketing. It was the engineering aspect of
Yes, but
telecoms,
even
and the
your
technical
field,
aspects.
Your field in the lab was not really marketing as well.
Yeah,
right?
but at least that one, you know that you add this amount of chemical to this amount of chemical and you get a new product.
result.
It's, once you do it the right way, you get the right thing. You understand? It followed the logical sequence, and sometimes my mind thinks in that way, that if you do this and you do this, this is the result that you get. The opportunity to having a variation would be if only you didn't do things the right way. You understand? And I just didn't connect with the engineering aspects, with the technical aspects of that sector at that time. Okay. So then I went into marketing. I did my master's in marketing, had the opportunity of attending the University of Ghana Business School, and I think that was a fantastic experience for me. Great lecturers, great friends, Bosi Chianu, Kojo Adai Mensa, Tony Hammond. I mean, that whole group that were in that class was quite interesting. And again, in the final year, I had the opportunity of doing my internship, and I got the opportunity of working with Media Magic and Research Systems under Gedilai. And I remember the last day of my internship, I went to see him to say thank you and to say bye. And he asked me, so what are you going to do when you finish school? And I said, I don't know. He says, you sure you don't know? I said, I want to work here. I just said, it's okay, don't worry, you have a job.
Aww.
So before I finished school, I
had
mean,
a job already.
Getty had assured me of giving me a job. So finished school.
But did you really not know what was next for you after school?
Well, at that time, no, I didn't know. No, I didn't.
And you
know.
weren't nervous going to say bye without knowing what's next?
Well, I think everybody peaks at a certain time. And for me, at that time, it was like just preparing yourself. It wasn't like going to face the world. But working at Media Magic, where you have to get up and then go to work and be responsible for things that are happening in the office, be working and directing the team is for me, that was really a turning point in my life. And making your presentations or preparing your presentations to brand managers and being prepared for any kind of question that they were going to ask you, selling your concepts to them. That was quite interesting, brainstorming with the team. And I guess that I'll forever be grateful to Gedilai for that opportunity that he gave me. Fortunately, I went for an interview at Guinness Ghana Breweries Limited. At that time, I'd never drank alcohol before.
How old were you?
Let's say 26.
And you'd never had alcohol?
Never had alcohol. Wow. No, maybe apart from communion. I mean, and even that's non-alcoholic as well. Anyway, so I went for this interview at Guinness, and there was a lady who was brand manager at Guinness at that time, Frances O'Reilly. There were about 6 of us who had made it for the final interview. So it was shortlisted to 2. Myself and Helen Jan Selby. And we're supposed to go and meet the marketing director, Mr. Frank Damale, at that time. So Helen went in first, and after I went in. So Mr. Frank Damale had a chat with me. We spoke for about 30 minutes. And he says, okay, young man, you have the job. So he says I should go and see his secretary for the letter. And I was expecting, because all the discussions that we had, I told him that I don't drink alcohol. So I was expecting that I'll be giving a brand manager for Malta Guinness. So I went to the secretary, Cynthia, at that time, and Cynthia gave me the letter. So I opened it, and you've been appointed brand manager, GFES. So I asked, what does GFES mean? Because I thought it would be MG, Malta Guinness. And G was Guinness, but FES, I didn't know what FES was. So I asked, what is FES? They said foreign extra stout. And I said, which one is that? They said Guinness. I said, no, I can't work on Guinness. I don't like Guinness. So she said, okay, then go and talk to Frank Damale.
Wow.
So I knocked on his door, and I was holding my letter. And at that time, Frank Damale had his laptop. His eyes were always. Aww. So then he raises his head and looks at me holding my letter. Then he says, what's the problem? And I sort of panicked. And he says, is it about your salary? After 3 months, you are confirmed, you can come and have this. And I said, no, sir, it's not about the salary. It's about the brand that you're giving to me. I think there's a mistake on it. We're talking about Malta Guinness, and I thought I'd explained to you that I don't drink alcohol. I've never touched alcohol. I don't connect with Guinness. He said, yes, and that's why I put you there. And I'm like, please, I think it's a mistake. He said, no, it's not a mistake. So go and convince you and the rest of your friends that are not enjoying this brand to come and start enjoying the brand. And I'm like, wow, that was so anyway, so we started working.
Okay, so I want to stop you here because I want to know if you ended up taking